Hello, welcome. In this lecture, let us discuss about module controller in JMeter. The module controller helps you reuse the parts of your test plan in different places. Basic use of module controller is to reuse the existing parts of the test plan. Instead of writing the same test steps multiple times, you can create the test steps once and call them using the module controller. Basic purpose of module controller is to call the test steps that you have created earlier. Let us understand how does module controller work. You build a section of your test, let us say login steps, inside a simple controller or any other controller. First, we will create a login steps under simple controller. Then we can use the module controller to call the earlier created login test steps wherever we need it. Instead of again and again recording the login test steps, you can create it once and you can call it whenever it is required. Let us understand why we use the module controller. Module controller makes your test plan modular and reusable, meaning you do not have to repeat the test steps over and over. It provides the reusability and it makes a test plan modular and simple. It is especially useful for large and complex test plans where certain actions like login are needed multiple times. When you need to log in multiple times, then instead of creating a login test steps every time, you can create it once and you can reuse it later. Let us understand a real-time use case example. In a scenario where you are testing a website where the users must log in before browsing or making a purchase. Let us assume this is an e-commerce website wherein user need to log in before doing a purchase. You can create a login section with all the steps to log in, and we save this login step inside the simple controller. Now we can use the module controller to call the login test steps that we have created in other parts of the test plan. Whenever you are doing a browsing a product or purchasing a product or adding a product to the cart, that time you need to log in. Instead of creating a login steps again, you can use the module controller and call the already created login test steps. This means you do not have to rewrite the login steps every time you need them. Let us understand this simple use case. In JPEG store, we have many products. I have listed here only two products, fish and dog. Whenever user need to purchase a fish, he need to sign in first, then purchase a fish and then sign out, right? Again, whenever user is purchasing a dog, again he need to sign in and purchase a product dog and then sign out. Here you can observe sign in is repeated 2 times and sign out is repeated 2 times. Here only we are discussing about 2 products. Let us say there are 100 products, then we need to sign in 100 times and we need to sign out 100 times. If there are 100 products we are testing, if we are testing a purchase of 100 products, then we need to sign in 100 times and sign out 100 times. Instead of recording the sign in and sign out script again and again, instead of duplicating the sign in and sign out steps again and again, what we can do is we can reuse the sign in and sign out steps using module controller. Wherever it is required, we can call that. While purchasing the fish also, we can call the same sign in steps, and while purchasing the dog also, we can call the same sign in steps that we record and keep in some controller, right? Similarly, sign out also, we can keep it somewhere in the some controller, and then we can call that whenever it is required. After every purchase we are logging out, then we can call it. Now let us practically understand how we can use the module controller for this particular use case. Now let me open the JPEG store website. So this is the JPEG store website here. Here there are 5 different product categories, and if we want to test purchasing these products individually, then we need to sign in 5 times and sign out 5 times. Assume there are hundreds of products, then 100 times you need to log in and log out. And if we repeat the login and logout script 100 times, then it will be duplication. We do not want to do that. What we'll do is we'll record the sign in script 1 time and sign out script 1 time, and we'll use that sign in and sign out script for purchasing every product. Now I will record the script for this particular scenario for sign in, sign out, purchasing a fish and purchasing a dog. right? For these steps we will record now, and we will rearrange that using module controller, and we will understand how module controller can be used in this particular case. Click on this extension, click on this blaze meter. I will call it as module controller, right? We will start the recording. First thing is I'll click on sign in, then provide the user ID and password and click on sign in. Now I want to purchase the fish, right? I will select some product ID and I will add to the cart, and I will proceed to checkout, and I will continue, and I will confirm. This purchase is done. Similarly, I will also purchase the dog, right? I will click on some product ID, I will add to the cart, I'll proceed to checkout and continue and confirm the purchase, and then finally I will sign out now. Now I will stop this recording. Now click again on the extension, click on blaze meter. Now click on save here, select the JMX here and click on save. It will extract the recorded script. Now script is extracted here. Now we will use this extracted script. We will browse this extracted script and we will modify according to our scenario. Let me open the JMeter now. So JMeter is opened. Now I will browse this test script that we have recorded using blaze meter. I will open here, I will go to the folder and I will browse this, and this is the script that we have recorded. This is for opening the URL and sign in, right? This one is open URL, click on sign in link, then here we are doing a sign in, right? These three are for sign in. So what I will do is I will add one simple controller here. Now we will place this sign in requests or sign in samplers under this simple controller, and I will call it as simple controller sign in, right? Sign in steps we have placed here. So this is for purchasing the fish. We can call it as buy fish step 1, right? This is buy fish step 2. This one we can call it as buy fish step 3. This one we can call it as buy fish step 4. This one we can call it as buy fish step 5. This one is from this step onwards, it is about buying a dog. So I will call it as buy dog. By looking at this value, we can identify this is the steps for buying a dog. Buy dog step 1, I call it as, next one is buy dog step 2, next one is buy dog step 3, next one is buy dog step 4, next one is buy dog step 5, and next one is buy dog step 6, and this is for sign out, right? Now what I will do is I will add one more simple controller under this thread group. I will call it as simple controller for buy fish, right? For buy fish steps we can copy under this particular controller. Similarly, I will add one more simple controller. I will add the steps to buy the dog under this particular controller. I will call it as simple controller buy dog, right? Now this sign out is there. I can add one more simple controller. I will call it as simple controller sign out. Sign out step I will copy under this particular controller. Now this particular controller steps under recorded under this particular controller, now we have organized as below. So these steps no longer required. I will disable this now. So now what I can do is Now this sign in and sign out, we are not executing individually, but we need to execute with buy fish and buy dog. Before buying a fish, we need to do a sign in and then buy the fish and then sign out, right? Then what we can do is we can add here the module controller. Here is where module controller comes into picture. So here after all these steps, I want to sign out here, right? Here you can select a sign out step, right? Similarly, before buying a fish, we need to sign in here. I will add one more module controller here. Module controller, we move this here. Before buying a fish, we need to sign in here, right? Select this sign in step. Now what will happen is it will sign in here and then buy the fish and it will sign out here, right? This is exactly how the flow will work. Similarly, while buying a dog as well, we need to sign in and then sign out. I will add the module controller here as well, right? After all the steps, we need to sign out here. We can select the sign out script and I will add one more module controller here. And before buying a dog, we need to sign in. We can select the sign in script here. Here, before buying a dog, here it will do a sign in and then purchase the dog and then sign out. Similarly, before buying a fish, here it will do the sign in and then purchase the fish and then sign out. And these things we can disable because they will not be executed in separation. They will sign in and sign out are a part of this buy fish as well as buy dog, right? So we can disable this. We no need to run them individually, right? We have organized our test steps using module controller. Here we can understand using a module controller, we are reusing the existing script. Here sign in script we are using, here sign out script we are reusing. So one time we have recorded the sign in and sign out script. We have reused here to buy the fish as well, to buy the dog as well. Like this, if there are 100 products you are testing and you can reuse it 100 times, it can avoid the duplication. These steps will not get duplicated because we are reusing, right? These 3 steps as well as this step, right? These steps will not be duplicated because we are creating it once and we are calling it again and again here using module controller, right? Now I will add the listeners to view the result. I will add one more listener, summary report. Now this is the module controller. I will save it as test plan module controller demo. Now let us run and verify how this works. Let me start the steps. So you can observe here, it is opening a URL first here opening the URL and then here clicking on the sign in, and here it performed a sign in here, welcome you can message, you can see. Now it will perform the buying of the fish, right? It clicked on a fish, then it will click on the product ID, then it will click on item ID and then update the cart, right? It is performing all the steps. Then finally it is doing a sign out here. You can see here it is signed out. Because of that it is showing sign in again. Once it is brought the fish, it is done a sign out, and again it will go to the URL and it will click on sign in and it has performed the sign in again. That is why you can see here welcome message, welcome test, right? It is performing all the steps here to buy the dog here, right? All the steps you can observe here. Then after buying the dog, it is doing a sign out here again. You can see sign in icon here because it has already signed out using this step. So in this way you can use the module controller to reuse the existing script. Here we have reused a sign in script and sign out script in both of these scenarios, that is to buy the fish and buy the dog. If there are 100 products like this, you can still reuse these scripts, right? You can do this as an exercise for buying a reptile, buying a cat, buying a bird, right? You can record the script for buying a reptile, cat and bird, and you can reuse this sign in and sign out script to perform that buying, right? And then sign out. So this is about the module controller in JMeter, which is used to reuse the existing script. I will attach this script in the resource section of this lecture. Thank you for watching.